You are the chosen one. You sit at a scarred kitchen table and run your finger along a row of envelopes, each one heavier than a paycheck. You stand beside a hospital vending machine, your heart counting the seconds between breaths. You pull into your driveway and see the empty spot where someone used to park, and the silence in your home rises like a wall. In the darkest night, while your eyes are open and your mind is tired, heaven is already writing your dawn. You are chosen. Not because the road was smooth, but because the road was broken and you kept walking. Not because you felt strong, but because you were honest about your weakness and you kept calling on God. The rejections were loud, but the purpose within you was louder. The world tried to box you in, but God wrote your name on a larger page. You were never designed to blend in. You were formed to stand out with steady grace. This is not theory. This is your life. Your card was declined at a gas station, and you smiled at the clerk to hide the sting. Your phone lit up with another final notice, and your stomach pressed tight. A doctor said more tests are needed, and the fluorescent lights hummed above your head. A friend stopped calling, and the group thread moved on without you. And still, something inside refused to go dark. Something inside kept a little lamp burning. If this truth speaks to you, hit like and subscribe. Write 333 inches the comments. It is a prophetic sign of your divine alignment. These actions are more than buttons. They are a faith signal. They say, I agree with my calling and I step forward. Remember Joseph in the cell with no window. He was not buried. He was planted. The pit was not the ending. It was the hallway to the palace. Remember David in the pasture, a song on his lips and a sling in his hand. He was overlooked by men, but he was seen by God. Remember Esther in a foreign court, calm on the outside and brave on the inside, placed for a purpose she could not ignore. Their stories are not distant. Their stories are mirrors held up to your face. No weapon formed against you will prosper. That promise is not soft. It is steel. The gossip will not stick. The plan to make you small will not hold. The closed door will become a guidepost to the right door. Every setback has been a setup for the next step. You are covered. You are carried. You are called. You do not need the approval of the room. You have the anointing for the assignment. You do not need every answer. You need the next obedient step. Breathe. Stand. Move. When you move, heaven moves with you. When you speak life, your atmosphere hears and shifts. When you sow kindness, the field responds with future harvest. Look at your days with new eyes. The tired job can become training ground. The long commute can become a secret sanctuary. The tiny apartment can become a workshop for big ideas. The hospital corridor can become a classroom in courage. The quiet kitchen can become an altar of gratitude. Nothing is wasted in the hands of God. Choose simple service. Text a blessing to the one who is heavy. Carry a bag for a neighbor on the stairs. Share a meal and listen without rushing. These small seeds do not vanish. They travel forward and return multiplied. God uses these common moments to shape uncommon futures. Listen to the rhythm of grace. Short wins and long waits. Quiet tears and sudden help. Doors that would not budge, then one door that swings. The pattern of heaven is patient, then powerful. The way of God is steady, then sudden. You are in that cadence now. You are closer than you feel. Take courage. You have walked through the fire, and you do not smell like smoke. You have crossed fierce water, and your shoes are still tied. You have stood in the valley and found a path that others could not see. When fear rises, answer with truth. When scarcity speaks, answer with seed. When shame knocks, answer with grace. Your identity is settled. You are not your last mistake. You are not the label given by a tired boss or a distant parent. You are not the sum of unpaid bills. You are not the shadow of a medical file. You are the handiwork of God, made new for good works, prepared in advance. You are a lamp set on a stand. You are a letter written to the world. You are salt with real flavor. Honor the small beginnings. Pack your lunch and show up on time. Return the call. Pay what you can. Write the plan on plain paper. Drink water and take the walk. Bless those who forgot you, and bless those who remembered you. Plant the seed and water it daily. The field is not empty. It is waiting for your faithful routine. When the night is long, remember that sunrise is not negotiable. The earth keeps turning. Seasons change on time. Your winter was real, but spring is scheduled. Your delay was long, but timing is being perfected. What you feared would never shift is already moving in your favor. Guard your mind. Limit the words that drain you. Limit the screens that steal your hours. Limit the rooms where your spirit cannot breathe. Feed your soul with scripture, even in simple lines. Feed your heart with worship, even in a whisper. Feed your hope with testimonies, even in small ones. You rise by what you repeat. Receive the peace of God, not as a feeling that visits once a week, but as an atmosphere that lives with you. It stills the hands that tremble. It loosens the jaw that clenches. It slows the thoughts that spin. Peace is not passive. Peace is power under control. Peace lets you move with purpose when others run in circles. Lift your head. Favor is finding you. Solutions are finding you. The right message, the right client, the right doctor, the right friend, they are arriving on schedule. You are not chasing crumbs. You are seated at a table that has your name card. You are not begging at a window. You hold keys in your hand. If this word confirms your path, hit like and subscribe, and write 333 inches the comments as a sign that you agree with heaven. Let your yes be visible. Let your faith be measurable. Let your timeline become a testimony others can read. The breakthrough is not later. It is here. It is being written into the edges of your day. It is meeting you in ordinary places. It is multiplying the little you offer. It is opening doors that fit your hands. It is placing you in rooms that match your assignment. It is steady. It is kind. It is sure. Now see the closing picture. A heavy door stands before you, old wood and iron hinges, and dust in the air. Your palm presses the handle, and the weight shifts. The door swings inward with a quiet sigh. Warm light spills across your feet and up your path. At the far end of the room, a simple chair waits, and on the seat rests a crown. You entered a season that stripped everything familiar. The doors you once trusted swung shut. The plans you mapped out fell apart. The voices that used to encourage you went silent. You sat in your car after work, staring at the steering wheel, asking why. You stood in the grocery store line, counting change, and wondering if the card would decline. You lay awake in a bed that once felt warm, but now echoed with absence. That was wilderness. Wilderness is not punishment. Wilderness is preparation. It is the place where applause disappears, where shadows grow long, and where only God remains. It is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to define you. In the wilderness, you discover what cannot be shaken. Think of Moses, 40 years with sheep in a desert, far from Egypt, far from power, far from purpose. Yet in that quiet place, a bush burned with holy fire, and God called his name. Think of Israel, walking 40 years across barren land. No crops, no storehouses, yet every morning bread fell from heaven. Every night water flowed from a rock. The wilderness is not empty, it is a classroom. Maybe your wilderness looked like waiting hours in a hospital hallway while hope slipped through your fingers. Maybe it looked like opening an envelope stamped final notice while your hands trembled. Maybe it looked like scrolling through your contacts, realizing you had no one left to call. You thought you were abandoned, but every step was counted. Every tear was caught. Every breath was recorded by heaven. The enemy whispered, "You are forgotten." But the wilderness was never silence. It was rehearsal. You were being trained to stand when no one clapped. You were being taught to believe when no answer came. You were being shaped to trust God even when you could not trace his hand. If this word resonates, pause and hit like. Write 333 inches the comments. That number is a prophetic confirmation that your wilderness is not wasted. It is the soil of your destiny. Your click is not just support. It is a declaration, a faith act that says, I align with my divine preparation. Joseph knew wilderness in a dungeon cell, forgotten by men, remembered by God. David knew wilderness in caves, hunted and hiding, yet singing psalms that would outlast kingdoms. Esther knew wilderness in silence, risking her life in secret prayers before stepping into the throne room. Each one faced obscurity before stepping into destiny. And so have you. In your wilderness, God gave daily bread, enough to survive the day, not enough to boast. He stretched your patience. He grew your roots. He stripped away idols. He proved that his word is enough. That manna season was not failure. It was foundation. But hear me, the wilderness has an end. Israel did not walk forever. Joseph did not stay in prison. David did not remain in caves. Esther did not remain hidden. And you, chosen one, will not stay in this desert. The horizon is already shifting. The ground beneath your feet is already softening. The wind is carrying new scents of promise. Lift your eyes. The wilderness is behind you. The promised land is ahead of you. You are stepping out of scarcity into overflow. You are walking from silence into songs. You are leaving behind emptiness and entering into fullness. Now see this picture. You stand at the border of desert and destiny. Behind you, cracked earth stretches under a fading Sunday. Before you, green valleys open wide, streams running like silver veins through the land, and on a distant hilltop, gates of a city glimmer like gold. The wilderness whispers, "Stay," but heaven declares, "Go." You take one step forward, and the sand turns to grass beneath your feet. You faced battles that looked bigger than your life, bills stacked higher than your income, diagnoses pressed harder than your body, silence felt heavier than your courage. You stood before giants that mocked you and told you that you would never move another step. Yet here you are, chosen one, still breathing, still standing, still believing. The giant is not only a legend from an old page, the giant is a shape that steps into your street. For David, it was a soldier wrapped in armor and noise. For you, it has been the mountain of debt, the echo of rejection, the voice that says you are not enough. Giants are built to look permanent. Faith is forged to make them fall. Picture the valley. The soldiers back away and the dust hangs in the air. A young shepherd walks forward. No heavy armor, no glittering sword, only a sling in his hand and a word in his heart. The crowd calls him foolish. Heaven calls him ready. He bends, he chooses a smooth stone. He lifts his chin, he runs. One sound, one strike, one fall. Your valley has been real. Your giant has had names. Past due, not approved. No call back. Test results pending. The emails no one answered. The door that stayed locked. The family table with one chair missing. The fear that tried to set up a bed in your chest. Yet a small drum of hope kept time inside you. Let us name 3 scenes so your story stands on the ground. Finance. You sit with a calculator that blinks a red number and you send one faithful payment anyway. Health. You wait in a grey hallway and repeat a simple prayer until peace arrives like a quiet friend. Relationship. You wash a single plate at a sink and choose to bless those who left and open your heart for those who are coming. These are not small things. These are stones in a sling. If this truth speaks to you, hit like and subscribe. Write 333 inches the comments. It is a prophetic sign of your divine alignment. These are not clicks for a machine. These are signals of faith. They say, I agree with heaven and I stand in my calling. Hear this. The giant is louder than you, but it is not stronger than the promise inside you. The giant looks taller, but it cannot grow deeper roots than your faith. The giant arrives first, but it does not finish last. What tried to stand over you will soon lie under your feet. David remembered his previous battles. A lion, a bear, private victories that no one clapped for, private courage that no one posted about. He told the giant that the same God who helped him then would help him now. That posture is your secret. You have fought midnight fights that no one saw. You have walked past a store window and chosen dignity. You have felt a wave of panic and slowed your breathing until your peace returned. Those moments trained your hand for this hour. You do not fight with the weapons the world expects. You fight with focus. You fight with a clear word. You fight with steady steps. You fight with worship when you could worry. You fight with service when you could sulk. You fight with gratitude when you could groan. This is not denial. This is dominion. Some said you should quit. Some said you were too late. Some said you missed your window. They did not see that you were sharpening your aim. They did not hear that God was rehearsing your heart. Delay did not cancel you. Delay prepared you. Dismissal did not define you. Dismissal refined you. Look at the battlefield again. The giant paces and shouts. The crowd trembles. You roll the stone in your hand and remember every time God carried you when you felt empty. You line up your courage with your calling. You take the step that others fear. You speak to the giant with a calm voice. You are finished today. You are finished by the name that backs my life. You are finished because my future is written. If your spirit agrees, hit like and subscribe as an act of faith. Write 333 inches, the comments, and let it be a sign that your aim is true. Let it be a witness that your agreement is clear. Let us talk about alignment. Giants fall when your heart and your steps and your words move in the same direction. Giants fall when your practice in private meets your moment in public. Giants fall when your reason says no, and your spirit says go, and you move with measured peace. Alignment turns a small stone into a sure strike. Let us talk about fear. Fear wears a giant mask, but fear is hollow. It shouts to fill its shape. It wears yesterday like armor. It points to your past, but it cannot touch your promise. You answer fear with facts from heaven. I am chosen. I am covered. I am sent. I am supplied. You answer fear with steady action. Make the call. Send the resume. Take the walk. Drink the water. Finish the course. Sow the seed. Fear shrinks when purpose moves. Let us talk about favor. Favor is not a lucky break. Favor is alignment with assignment. Favor is the right stone at the right time in the right hand. Favor opened the way for David. Favor opens rooms for you, not because you pretend to be strong, because you stand where God placed you, and you refuse to step back. Do not forget this. The point is not to be famous. The point is to be faithful. The point is not to prove people wrong. The point is to prove purpose right. When the giant falls, you do not gloat. You gather. You gather the lesson. You gather the testimony. You gather the tools for the next season. Victory is not a pose. Victory is stewardship. You will see movement in places that looked frozen. A number will change from red to black. A report will shift from unclear to improving. A phone will ring with a door that fits your gifts. A hard room will soften, and a long argument will end. These are giant-sized changes. They begin with one stone of obedience. Help arrives in quiet ways. A mentor sends a line that unlocks your plan. A neighbor brings a meal on the day you needed it most. A stranger smiles, and you remember that kindness still stands in the world. These signs are small, yet they are loud to the soul. They say, keep going, guard your language. Speak life into the thin places. Speak order into the messy places. Speak hope over your timeline. Your words are not noise. Your words are steering your steps. Let your mouth agree with your mission. When the giant tries a final roar, do not flinch. Lift your chin, tighten your grip, breathe, aim, release. The outcome is not random. The outcome has been shaped by 1,000 small obediences that no one saw. That is why the stone flies straight. That is why the fall is certain. Now you stand very still. The battlefield is quiet. The dust begins to settle. Your hands are calm. Your heart is slow. The giant is down. You kneel and thank God without a microphone. You rise and look not at the crowd, but at the road that opens beyond the field. A new chapter waits. A single smooth stone rests on the forehead of a fallen giant. You know the feeling of being trapped. 4 walls and no window and no exit. Not always a physical cell, often a prison made of circumstances. The job that drains you and still pays too little. The relationship that broke and yet left a chain around your heart. The debt that multiplies while your efforts divide. You woke on cold mornings and felt like Joseph in a deep dungeon, forgotten and overlooked. The prison whispers lies. It says this is where you stay. It says no one remembers your name. It says you prayed but nothing moved. Yet prison is not the end. Prison is preparation. What others call a cage, heaven calls a classroom. Consider 3 daily scenes so that your hope stands on the ground. Finance. You sit at a small kitchen table with a calculator and a stack of envelopes. You exhale and send a faithful payment anyway. Health. You wait under a humming light in a hospital hallway. You close your eyes and repeat a simple prayer until peace rises in your chest. Relationship. You wash one plate in a quiet sink and forgive the absence that once filled your rooms. You open your heart for new covenant friends. These are not small things. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and sold for silver. He was faithful in Potiphar's house, then slandered and locked away. But God never forgot him. What looked like delay was design. What looked like silence was rehearsal. Wisdom was being carved into his soul. Authority was being shaped inside his patience. The morning that lifted him to the palace may have seemed sudden, but the skill was forged over many nights without applause. Your prison has tried to rename you. It called you failure. It called you too late. It called you not enough. Heaven rejects those labels. Heaven calls you faithful. Heaven calls you prepared. Heaven calls you chosen. You are not the chain on your ankle. You are the calling in your bones. You are not the echo of a closed door. You are the voice that keeps saying forward. If this witness reaches your heart, hit like and subscribe. Write 333 inches the comments. It is a prophetic sign of your divine alignment. These actions are not for a machine, they are a public declaration that you agree with your assignment and that you stand in hope. Listen to the simple wisdom of the cell. Routine is not prison when it is purpose. Make the bed and bless the day. Pack your lunch and honor your labor. Keep receipts and tell your money where to go. Drink water and take the short walk. Read the Psalms aloud in a soft voice. Text a blessing to a coworker before sunrise. These steady steps are stones that build a way out. The key is not drama. The key is discipline soaked in faith. Honor the unseen hours. Joseph interpreted dreams for others long before his own dream was fulfilled. Paul wrote letters from confinement that now travel through centuries. Silas sang in the midnight, and the ground began to tremble. The highest doors often open for those who choose praise in low places. Praise is not denial. Praise is defiance. Praise says the walls do not get the last word. There is a sound in heaven that answers songs in prisons on earth. It does not ignore the pain. It does not erase the loss. It meets the ache with presence. It meets the fear with peace. It meets the lack with provision. This is not theory. This is testimony written across the lives of the faithful. You will add your name to that record. Guard your mind with simple gates. Fewer voices, deeper truth. Short feeds, long scripture. Less gossip, more gratitude. Speak life into thin places. Speak order into scattered places. Speak hope over your hours. Your words are not noise. Your words are steering your steps. Learn the practice of open hands. You cannot heal while clenching old hurt. Release the offense. Release the timeline. Release the demand that it must look a certain way. Many chains are held by habit more than by iron. When your hands open, new provision has room to land. When your hands open, your shoulders drop and your breath deepens. Peace is not passive. Peace is power under control. You are not waiting for a person with keys. The key has been forming within you. It is formed by obedience. It is formed by integrity. It is formed by small service when no one sees. It is formed by faithful work in rooms that others ignore. When the day comes, that inner key will match the outer door. What looks like sudden promotion will be long practice meeting, perfect timing. Let us name what the cell tried to steal. It tried to steal your schedule, so you take it back with structure. It tried to steal your joy, so you take it back with gratitude. It tried to steal your voice, so you take it back with worship, whispered at dawn and at dusk. It tried to steal your courage, so you take it back with one brave call, one brave email, one brave step. Each day, provision will meet you in ordinary ways. A supervisor will remember your name. A client will return and bring a friend. A doctor will say the numbers are moving in the right direction. A neighbor will knock with a solution you did not expect. None of this is random. You planted in tears and you will reap in songs. Prepare for the call. Update your resume. Organize your tools. Learn the next skill in the evening. Clean your space as if a new season is at the door. Joseph shaved and changed his clothes before he stood before the king. You will dress your hope in the same way, not for pretense, for readiness. If your spirit agrees with this preparation, hit like and subscribe as a faith act. Write 333 inches the comments as a seal upon this word. Let your agreement be visible. Let your courage be countable. Let your hope be heard. This is not a denial of pain. This is a declaration of purpose. You cried on the bathroom floor, and then you stood up. You stared at the overdue notice and still sent a payment. You walked back into the clinic and lifted your chin. You cooked a simple meal and shared it with someone lonelier than you. Heaven saw every line of that story. Heaven honored it with strength. There is a reason the enemy fought you hardest in the hidden places. He feared what would grow there. He feared the quiet roots that sink deep. He feared the patience that learns to sing at midnight. He feared the authority that cannot be bought. That authority is rising in you now. Calm, measured, reliable, strong. When the door opens, walk through it without apology. Do not bring the old labels with you. Do not over-explain your journey. Let the fruit speak. Let the results speak. Let the peace on your face speak. You are not stepping into luck. You are stepping into alignment. Hold steady as the shift begins. New rooms will test your center. New voices will test your vision. Do not trade integrity for access. Do not trade devotion for speed. Remember the lessons of the cell. Keep rhythms of rest. Keep rhythms of prayer. Keep rhythms of service. These patterns carry you when the spotlight tries to blind you. Your family will feel the change. The table will be fuller. The laughter will return. The texts will read, "I made it home," and there will be relief in every word. The account will breathe again. The medicine will be reduced. The house will feel light. This is not fantasy. This is harvest from seeds you sowed in the dark. And now the promise. The day will come when a voice calls your name from the other side of the bars. It may be a phone call. It may be an email. It may be a knock on a door. It will sound ordinary, and it will change everything. You will rise with a calm heart. You will gather what matters and leave the rest. You will look once at the room that held you, and you will bless it for what it built in you. The prison season has ended. Your steps carry new weight. Your breath carries new strength. Your eyes carry new light. You are ready for the palace, not because of crown and comfort, but because you can now serve with wisdom and lead with compassion. You will steward the plenty because you have known the lack. See the closing picture. A dim corridor stretches ahead, stone underfoot and quiet air. Keys turn in a lock. The door swings open. A rectangle of warm light pours across the floor and climbs your face. You step forward and the light grows wider. Behind you, the door settles and the latch falls shut. Ahead of you, a stairway rises toward a bright hall. At the top of the stairs, a table is set and a plain gold ring waits beside your plate. There are moments when life feels like fire. Not the gentle fire of a candle, but the consuming fire of trial. You stood in the middle of accusations that burned hotter than truth. You walked through betrayals that left scars deeper than skin. You faced nights when anxiety pressed your chest so tight that even breath felt expensive. This is the furnace, chosen one. The furnace is not random, it is intentional. It purifies what cannot go with you into the next season. It burns away fear, it melts away pride, it exposes false security and leaves only faith. You feared it would consume you, but it was designed to refine you. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They refused to bow to the idol. They were thrown into the flames. The fire was real. The heat was undeniable. But in the fire, they were not alone. A fourth figure walked with them, and when they came out, not a hair was singed, not a robe was scorched. Only the ropes were burned. That is what your furnace is doing. It is burning away the ropes that bound you. Maybe your furnace was the courtroom where justice seemed delayed. Maybe it was the hospital bed where the diagnosis tried to dictate your days. Maybe it was the silence of people who promised to stay but vanished when the heat rose. These are the flames you faced. But look at you. You are still standing. You are still breathing. You are still believing. The fire has not destroyed you, it has revealed you. If this word resonates, pause now and declare it. Hit like and subscribe as an act of agreement. Write 333 inches the comments as a sign that you accept the refining work of God. This is not ritual. This is prophetic. It marks you as one who will not bow, one who will not quit, one who will emerge radiant. The furnace teaches you resilience. Every time the enemy thought the flames would break you, they made you shine brighter. Every time people wrote you off, your faith wrote you back in. Every time fear rose like smoke, hope cut through like fresh air. This is your testimony. The flames have become your platform. Do not despise the heat. The very place of pressure is where diamonds are formed. The very place of fire is where gold is refined. The very place of opposition is where your anointing is proven. You prayed for strength, and God gave you the furnace to reveal the strength already in you. Your story is echoing the furnace saints. Job, who sat in ashes but refused to curse God. Esther, who risked her life and walked into fire for her people. David, who ran toward the giant instead of away from the battle. Each of them walked through fire, and each of them found glory on the other side. Let me remind you, the fire is temporary, the glory is eternal. The trial has an expiration date. The testimony will outlive you. Do not measure your life by the flames of this moment. Measure it by the crown that awaits beyond the fire. You may smell the smoke around you, but heaven smells the fragrance of your faith. You may see the ashes on your hands, but heaven sees the beauty being birthed. You may feel the heat on your face, but heaven sees the shine of your future. Rise now, chosen one, lift your head in the furnace. Declare aloud, I will not bow, I will not burn, I will not break. I will walk out of this fire carrying glory. See the vision as this chapter closes. You stand in the heart of the furnace. Flames twist high around you. The heat is fierce, yet your clothes do not burn. The ropes fall in smoking pieces at your feet. And beside you stands a radiant figure, light brighter than flame, presence stronger than fire. You take one step forward. The flames part. A doorway of pure gold opens before you, and the fire becomes a crown. This is the season of rising. You walked through wilderness. You faced the giant. You endured the prison. You stood in the furnace. Each stage was real. Each wound was deep, but none of it was wasted. Now the crown is placed, not as decoration, but as destiny. The crown is not a toy. It is not glitter for the spotlight. It is weight. It is calling. It is responsibility shaped by trial. You are not crowned to sit higher. You are crowned to bow lower. You are not elevated for pride. You are elevated for purpose. The oil on your life is not perfume. It is power. Think of David, once ignored in fields, now seated in the palace. He never forgot the sling. Think of Esther, once an orphan, now queen, with words that could save a nation. She never forgot her people. Think of Joseph, once bound, now governor with wisdom to feed a world. He never forgot the dungeon. Their crowns were not about themselves. They were about stewardship. Look at your own life. The bills you once feared have now become lessons in financial strength. You plan, you steward, you give. The empty chair in your home has become an invitation for new community. You cook, you share, you welcome. The waiting rooms where you sat in fear are now places where you encourage others. You speak peace, you listen, you pray. This is how your crown works. Ordinary scenes, extraordinary impact. If this word touches you, pause, hit like and subscribe. Write 333 inches the comments, a prophetic sign of alignment. This is more than action. It is agreement. It is a declaration that you will wear your crown with humility and mission. A crown must be carried with integrity. Do not forget the lessons of your trial. Gratitude keeps pride away. Rest keeps burnout away. Stewardship keeps waste away. Prayer keeps confusion away. Keep these rhythms close, for they are the cushion under the weight. Your crown is also a signal. People will see something different in you. They will ask why you smile in storms, why you remain calm in conflict, why you serve when no one else volunteers. And in your answer, you will point them upward. That is the real glory of the crown, that it reflects light not back to you, but through you. Let your leadership be marked by service. Lead by listening, lead by lifting, lead by loving. Remember Jesus, who washed the feet of those he led. That is the model of royal authority. Not control, but care. Not ego, but sacrifice. Your crown is generational. The blessings you walk in will outlive you. Your children, your community, even strangers who hear your story will feel its ripple. That is why the enemy fought so hard to stop you earlier. He knew this moment would come, but he failed. You are still here, and your crown is secure. So lift your head, walk steady, serve boldly, speak life, build what lasts, love without measure. This is what it means to reign, not with arrogance, but with assignment, not with vanity, but with vision. Now picture this. A great hall stands before you, doors wide open. At the center rests a table. Upon it, a crown gleams in quiet light. You step forward, you bow your head. The crown is placed gently but firmly. It fits, it belongs. As you lift your gaze, tall windows swing open. Beyond them lies your city, bathed in sunrise. You step onto the balcony, arms wide, and the sound of a trumpet breaks the morning. The crown is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of your mission.